Hello everyone, welcome to the RNG University. Today we're going to play another net deck that I found. It's the Jeskai Lier that's been floating around quite some time now. This deck is obviously hinged on using Lier in blue, white, red formats, and also comboing out quite well with Temporal Firestorm to kind of clean up the board and phase out some of your big threats. And the big threats are obviously Lier. Maybe you can get Hullbreaker Horror to stick, or Teferi at the very bottom end of those threats is also a pretty good card. To hold up this package, we have a lot of early game cards. We have Fading Hope, 2 off, 4 Flame Blessed Bolts to take out those underdogs, 2 Destroy Evil against Shieldred, but also against enchantments, 2 Negate to obviously counter non-creature spells, 2 Abrade, which I think it's a tech card against Bankbusters that a lot of people are running, so that's pretty good. And then, of course, 4 Bankbusters for Bankbusters goodness. Right, you get mana, you get card advantage, and you get a creature at some point. So this is an insanely good card in a more tempo-driven or slower meta. Aggro meta, this is not good because early game it doesn't do anything. 1 Celestis just so that we can kind of combo off with Teferi. And then on the 4 drop, we have 2 Archangel of Wrath to help us gain life back. Those eyeballs are scary. And then for Wandering Emperors, because, well, we got white, so white deck has Wandering Emperors. Alright, and then at the top end, aside from the 4 Firestorm, we also have 1 Farewell, in case our opponent is, enchantment heavy or somehow artifact heavy deck. The Farewell will do stuff. And then the land base. This is kind of a funny thing to do in the land base because, well, we don't have Jeskai Triumph lands, so we have to kind of fix around that. We have 4 Darkar Waste, 4 Deserted Beach, 3 Shivan Reef, and 1 Stormcarved Coast, 4 Sundown Pass, and 4 Windscar Crag for fixing the mana base. But you see that we only have 4 blue-red mana base, whereas we have 8 white-blue and 8 red-white. And the reason for that is because a lot of this deck is mainly white, right? We get the 4 Emperor, we got the Archangel of Wrath, we got Destroy Evil. They're all fairly white. And a lot of blue sources do come out of the blue-white already, so we don't need that many red-blue source. So I think that's the idea behind not running 4 Stormcarved Coast and 4 Shivan Reef in the deck originally. So that's what I'm going to try with. Hopefully this deck works well. I've been playing around with this deck and shifting the meta. We're shifting based on the meta a little bit. In the beginning of the net deck, this had 3 Abrade and I think 1 Negate or 1 Destroy Evil. And Abrade is a good card, but it's not that good when the opponent may not be running Bankbuster. At that point, you're just paying 2 mana to deal 3 damage. It's not as crazy, and it's almost basically a Lightning Strike that only hits creatures. So, yeah, Abrade is something that you can definitely cut if you want to just run 2 Lightning Strikes. This might help. Or maybe more Fading Hope to counter the more aggro meta, to just slow them down a little. That also could help. This deck obviously does not go up against mono blue all that well, unless we can get to the late game. Then Lier and Hullbreaker really just wrecks them. So I hope I don't run into that many mono blue, but who knows. That's the deck, that's the play. Let's try it out. Jeskai Lier. So I really like the Jeskai color combination because it has a lot of the good sort of synergies between the colors as well. The problem with that is we don't have the current Triumphs, so a lot of people are running Esper instead, since there is an Esper Triumph out. Alright, so we're going first, or no, we're going second. We're mulliganing first. 2 Lier, which means that we probably shouldn't keep this hand, but we do have 3 lands, which means that this is a good hand to keep with 3 lands against an opponent that might aggro us. We will just lose. So it is a pretty tricky keep. 2 Lier is not a good keep, honestly. Let's pitch that. All right, so now we have 4 lands, and I wonder if we should put back Negate. Probably one of the lands. The problem with putting back one of the lands is now we'll never draw our 4th land. And as I said that, I draw our 4th land, so it's not that bad. We still don't have any plays until turn 4. Unless our opponent lets us get out a Negate, which is not like good. Oh, well, as I say that, we get out Negate. at the cost of 1 damage. So I thought about running out the Auto Aura instead of the Dark Card Waste, but I think it's warranted just because I might need to use Auto Aura as a spell or as a channel later on. Okay, our opponent has 3 lands open. Plays a second wedding announcement. Now they have blue, so it might be warranted to play out the Wandering Emperor on our turn, just so that it does not run into a counter spell. And we have 2 Wandering Emperors, and not playing anything this turn feels bad. So I'm gonna play out Wandering Emperor now.
But may your blade strike true.
Definitely can count that as a mistake if something else happens to it. Alright, so 2 things are attacking our Wandering Emperor. And then we get Lantern Flare. Okay, that's not very fun for us.
I'm never done.
We don't really need to top deck a land, because we can just Firestorm this board, which I guess we will do. And that's why we run Firestorm. Alright, our opponent hasn't really missed a land drop. I hope we don't miss a land drop. Let's see, we can play the Fairy, but it's just going to come in and meet a bunch of trouble. So we're just gonna pass turn. Well, let's burn out the Resolute Reinforcement first. Alright, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, he has 6 mana and not play anything. I guess the Wandering Emperor is probably warranted here. See if there's a counterspell. There's Protect the Negotiators. Okay, so we can now put out the second, or third Wandering Emperor. Or we can Teferi, go up to... yeah, Teferi's not really going to help. It's just going to come in and die to the attackers. Same thing as Wandering Emperor, honestly, because Wandering Emperor is just going to come in and kill one of these, or make a 2/2, and then the other ones are going to come and kill our Wandering Emperor. So I guess it's better to have Teferi come out and try to dig for a fight.
Someone call for a hero?
It's not really what I wanted to do with Teferi, but against an aggro style deck like this, Burns or Teferi, I'm not sure if I would have done that. That was a
change of plans to keep things fresh.
That was almost a free kill on the Teferi if he had a chance to. But he chose to do this instead. Okay, so we drew all 4 Wandering Emperors because the Shuffler is fine. Now, he's holding back 1 card, so that could be a counterspell. And if it's that Protect the Negotiator again, we're going to have to pay 3 over the Firestorm, which I don't think we can do. So I'm just going to pass turn. See if he's playing that Protector. Is that what it's called? The Resolute Reinforcement. Alright, let's try to play our Wandering Emperor.
Now you've done it. Let your blade do the talking.
Let's kill the humans and not the soldiers. This doesn't hurt too much, because we can keep going on this.
May your blade strike true.
There's a Resolute Reinforcement. We're gonna have to play our second Emperor just to not die from here.
I hope you're ready to lose. This is what you get for hurting my people.
Let's see if another play. He does not have another play. So now the question is whether or not we want to Farewell or we want to Temporal Firestorm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Firestorm can help us go underneath the counterspell, whereas in the Farewell cannot. So let's go through the Firestorm. And we're not going to phase anything out. So I needed to
I'll
burn the
be
board.
back.
There was no response, so there was no counterspell underneath that. That's fine for us. We're still very near dead. Okay, so we're gonna mill three things. Make it 2/2. They're playing out their hand, so I need to do this now. Exile all creatures, all enchantments, all graveyards. There's no artifact on the board, so I mean, I'll do it anyways. Well, we cannot take that guy out. And he's going to pump. Oh, if he pumps, we can take it out. So let's see if it does. If he waited, he could have pumped on his turn. I guess we died anyways. GG. Their top deck's better than ours. Nothing we can say about that. That's the first game. It was a close game against an aggro deck. I think it was pretty close. We did finish all the quests though, so that was fun. The first game was very frustrating. I would say it's not so much that the deck was bad or that the matchup was bad. I think the matchup was okay. We were able to survive well enough because our matchup was okay. The problem with that is we didn't draw the right cards at the right time. I don't think we did. If we had drawn one Lier, that would have helped immensely. And sometimes I guess it would help to not play around counterspells because that might be what caused me the game. We're gonna go first this time with a Bank Buster, so we're going to keep. Oh, mono white aggro. That's not good for us. Unfortunately, we did not draw an untapped land, so we're just gonna eat these damages. Okay, so this game we're probably gonna lose because of bad matchup and bad draw. 3 mana to Abrade. Thalia feels bad, but gotta do it. I thought about abrading on an opponent's turn, but they could have a protection spell at that point, so. Second Thalia. Well done. Okay, so there is a call for Archangel Wrath this turn, so we can block. The thing is, we can't use it as a removal. I will play it though, because every other play is pretty bad. I wonder if that deck still has Growth of Thought. And they do! Okay, so we get removed because we went to the one deck that still has Growth of Thought for some reason. Destroy Evil. Not very useful. All these are kind of less than 2, or less than 4. I'm just gonna quit. That was a horrible game. That was a horrible matchup. Our opponent get to go first. They had all the correct answers to whatever spell we played, and we basically could not get anything on the board. But yeah, sometimes that's how the game goes. The thing is, on ladder in Arena, you really have to play a deck that has early kind of a board presence. Alright, we get 3 lands, Bank Buster, so we're gonna keep. I guess the one misplay, or you could call it a misplay last game, was I should have put out the Bank Buster instead of the Archangel Wrath and try to hit a 5th land. 5th land! There was no guarantee of that, so yeah. Here I will put out the Bank Buster. This is the Grow aggro deck, so we have a removal and we have a potential exile later on. They're all very good for late game plays. So far so good. We're not gonna Gonjo a 2-1, so Tovolar is a bit annoying though. Yeah, the problem with Tovolar is he's going to get a lot of card advantage, and I need to have something to counter that card advantage. So it's going to flip into a 4-4, and then he can draw a lot of cards based on that. It's unfortunate, but can't really stop it right now. The Wandering Emperor doesn't do anything. We'll let him flip because, well, I don't have a choice. And now I can Wandering Emperor the Tovolar if I need to. If he has a protection spell, then that's too bad for us.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
Oh, there goes
My
Tovolar.
judgment is final.
He has free reign to play whatever spell he wants, because I'm tapped out. Lana and Elena. Interesting drop there. Okay, so this turn, maybe the right play is to Temporal Firestorm and just blow up everything on the board. Helena and Elena is not really going to pump anything out of Firestorm range, so there is no hurry, I think, to do that. On the other hand, the Archangel Wrath can ping anything for... Okay, you know what? I will Temporal Firestorm this turn, because the Archangel Wrath can basically deal 4 damage to whatever you play.
Years of training. For
Betray
this?
my own Emperor. Alright, opponent, what are you going to play? Stormseeker. Very interesting. At the beginning of your combat, if you control another... Okay. Jeez. That's interesting. Well, you play 2 spells. Now you bounce your own... Well, you flip your own guy. Actually, I don't have black. So if I don't have black, I can't really Archangel Wrath for both. And if I cannot Archangel Wrath for both, I think the better play is to drop a land. Bankbuster. Okay, so now I was gonna Teferi and then untap the Bankbuster and another land, but now I have a Braid, so it might be better just to Abrade something. But if I Abrade the Reckless Stormtrooper, I guess I'll do it. The thing is, I thought about it, if I Abrade it, I can't play anything else this turn. Arlen, all of his cards are high tempo.
Humans and werewolves.
This is painful.
existed in a good world.
This is very painful for us. And there goes our Bankbuster. Oh, the return of the Bankbuster. Let's see. This costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will cost 5. If we play Teferi for 4, we get 1 mana back. So we instead of 7, it costs 3. We have 4 mana, which is not enough for Archangel. So now we have to just do the 1. Blow up the Arlen. It's too scary. Play a Bankbuster. You have to. Alright, if he attack with the pup, our Bankbuster can block it. He plays his Bankbuster. Interesting, he's digging right now, which means he does not have a combat trick. See, do I want a red or a white? Probably a white. Alright, so the problem now is there's 2/2/2s, and all we get is top deck lands. So let's get some white mana out of the way. And dig. Dig on like our life dependent.
Time for a complex.
Because it does. What can we do? The Portal Firestorm. Okay.
Win the quick way
So we just have to
for the
last
fun.
one more turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5. Okay. So the game plan is to Agonjo the pup and block so we can kill the pup and Firestorm will do the rest. Hopefully. Alana and Elena. Look at their draws, whereas we draw lands. Ow. Ow. No. Yes. Yes. That is the right play. Alright, we'll go to the blocker stage. We will block this. No, wait. Is it both attacking that? So we'll block this. Take the 5. And we will Gonjo your little pupper. So we save our Teferi. Very good. Ah, didn't need to save Teferi anyways. I feel dumb doing that. Okay, well. You want to block? Not want to block. Good. Well, should we send the fairy to the graveyard?
I suppose that's how it was meant.
Nothing like a
Fairy's
team
going to the
of
shadow
friends to
realm.
keep
We get a
things
Lier.
fresh.
Do we have a lot of spells? We have a Braid. We have Temporal Firestorm. Good enough, anyways. All right, and then we will Firestorm, phase out the rat. You can gain some life. That's fine with us. Alright, how many lands do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can Lier Firestorm, but that's not exactly a good play. We can also Lier a Braid. Does Lier a Braid call for anything? We can kill the Bank Buster, and then all he has are tiny creatures on the board. It's a little late for the Braid, but it is warranted here. I don't know if you can protect it somehow. You're gonna crew it and then give it hexproof. Oh, still died. That's fine with us. Our Lier wasn't really gonna go anywhere other than that one attack. And Arson, oh come on. What is this game? How is this fair? Can't even block the Arsons. Because our Archangel would just die. But the question, no, there's no really any need for this to attack. Oh, it's a menace. So yeah, don't need to worry about that at all. So let's go in for some damage. This is a God draw. Definitely needed that. Hold on. If we Teferi, no, we cannot. Not enough mana. Yeah, the Temporal Firestorm is what's saving our Tovalar. Come on. Jeez. Okay. I guess we need to Teferi and dig. This has been an insane game. Our opponent is just been hitting every card he needs to hit.
Or the fun way.
Do I attack here? No, extra 3 damage doesn't really do anything. Having a blocker might be important. Alright, Lana Elena. Every single top deck has been insane from our opponent, and we just kind of have to live with it. No.
I've
No
learned
Tolar,
much
please.
during
Go
my
away.
travels. I am almost
I'll
sad
get a
to
Fling
see
Bliss
you
Bolt.
go.
Not going to be that useful. Actually, it is useful. Let us Lier. Do that. And bless your bolts. Really bless your bolts. Get out of here. Oh wait. No, let us put a some counter on it. First. Attack with it.
I've got new moves
Attack
to
with our
teach
angel. Gain the life back. And then we can untap. The beach. Artifact? There's no artifact. We'll tap one of your treasures. Creature. The beach. Alright. We get to untap our nudist beach. Are you gonna do anything? Of course, when they're getting their god draws, they like playing this game, and whenever we get an answer to them, they just rage quit and start roping. Some people have no manners. I mean, come on, you've been drawing every high tempo card, every turn high tempo cards, and now you're complaining that I had one response? Are they even here? No, you're just gonna quit. Okay, GG. Arcane Sun. That was a long, drawn-out game, but I'm glad we were able to win that. Scrounge out the end of that game. Alright, so that was 3 games. Let's just have a bit of a reflection on this deck, on whether or not it's good or not. And I really think it's good. I really think this deck has, well, I've been saying amazing potential for every other deck, but I think this deck is probably one of the better decks in the current meta. I wouldn't want to say the best deck, because unfortunately the best decks are the monocolor decks that are really boring to play and does not require any IQ. You just look at the cards, play on curve, and hopefully you have better draws and you win, right? So that's not fun. What is fun is thinking about what kind of outs you could have, what kind of counters, what kind of play you could have coming up, and kind of scrounge together a play that eventually gets you to win. That's the type of deck I like, which I think this is one of the better ones for that type of play. Especially with Archangel Wrath. Archangel Wrath has secretly been one of the MVP of the deck to keep us from not dying from these aggro tempo decks. Then, on the other hand, Teferi does not really do anything but draws a lot of my opponent's ire. They keep trying to attack and kill Teferi because I know the ult's good, but not ulting Teferi means that he's pretty much useless. Every time I get to untap something, it's not the end of the world, but opponent really likes killing him instead of killing me, which I do appreciate. I haven't really got to play Hullbreaker Horror today, but from the times I've tried this deck, Hullbreaker Horror also has been an MVP against any deck that runs blue, because he can be countered, and all of the spells that we play can basically quote-unquote counter their spell. And it's not even countering them, it's bouncing the spell back to their hand, which is amazing. Right? They pay for a giant meat hook, bounce back to their hand. If they have a counter spell, bounce back to their hand. They can't really stop Hullbreaker Horror if all they try to do is counter. So it's actually an extremely good card, which we have known since Innistrad, right? But in the current slower meta, he has a lot more staying power. So Hullbreaker Horror, amazing card to play in the current meta if you can fit it into a deck that can last that long. And this deck can. This deck has 5 Field Clings in Farewell and 4 Temporal Firestorm, and a lot of early game removal to try to stay in the game. Amazing deck. I suggest you try it out. If you like those kind of slower, drawn-out play style where you have to really think and manage to kind of scrounge together a win, this is definitely the type of deck to play. Thank you very much for joining me. See you guys next time.